So what is going on, guys? Frankie Trades here, bringing you another new weekly stock watch list. Before we get started though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the watch list. So as far as earnings week goes, last week I mentioned it as well. Next 2 weeks, counting last week, it is just dead for companies reporting. We have one company that reported, and besides that, there is nothing else. So earnings is pretty clear. Got nothing to talk about that. And got a whole 2 weeks off of companies reporting, which is always nice. So let's go ahead and dive into the watch list, which I'm sure most of you are excited about. So for ES here, ES obviously is at all-time highs. If I put this on the 1 year 1 day, you can see that we did break all-time highs this previous Friday. And if I put this on the 1 hour to 30 minute, the nice thing about this is the breakout range for ES was around that 69.50 area. And you can see that now over the weekend, I typically like to keep things really simple. I don't like to overcomplicate things. That's just not how I believe trading should be looked at, especially as a scalper, especially if you're a scalper / day trader. Most of this information, it's kind of good to get it. It's good to get a rough idea of where your index is at and where your stocks are at, and just getting a rough idea where everything is currently sitting at. But overall, I don't like to overcomplicate things and say, oh, I expect things to be here, expect things to be at this level, or maybe things drop back. Who knows? I'm always really open-minded with trade ideas and all that. But overall, I like to keep things just really super simple. It makes trading less difficult. So that's just a little bit of advice for you guys out there. So, but with ES here, I'm looking to keep things pretty simple. I mean, they're looking at 7,000 for a continuation for all-time highs and breaking that potential psychological level that's just sitting up there. Or if we draw back and come down below the 69.50 breakout point where we had originally breaking out from. So ES pretty straightforward, pretty simple, nothing too complicated there. NQ is a little bit trickier here. You can see on the 4 hour, 4 hour on the daily chart, you can see that we've been talking about this 25,800 area for a while. But we haven't had a solid close followed along with some continuation. And on Friday, we finally got a close, if you want to call it that. We did get a decent close around the 900 area, and now we're sitting above this 25,800 area. So the next point on NQ that I'm looking at will be this 26,000 point, and after that, I really don't have anything till maybe 26,300 or even 400 where the all-time high is currently sitting at. So NQ obviously behind the market. Tech sector as a whole is behind. Not a bad thing, not a good thing. I mean, I don't look at it again either way. I'm just going to trade with what's presented in front of me and just execute on top of that. So now, as far as the watch list, which I'm sure most of you guys are pretty much waiting for at this point every time on these Sunday reviews now. First thing is MU. MU, pretty straightforward. All I'm looking for is an all-time high play on this at 295. I do like this enough to put this on the watch list because of how much momentum MU has had recently, and I think this stock still has so much more room to go, even above 290. I'm sure it could be scalpable at some point, maybe even 291. But the real level, the real consolidation, the real setup that we have on here is at 295 on MU. So nothing complicated about that setup. Next up is Microsoft. I did mention this one on the previous week that we just had, but the setup is just so good that I feel like I have to keep mentioning it on every single watch list if it still decides to hold below here. The level that I'm looking at is at 494. You can see we have a flat top over here at this level, and on the 4 hour you can see it a lot more clear because it includes pre-market and after hours. But you can see why I'm looking at 494. Just a clean consolidation at 494. Whenever this is ready to break out, I'll be there ready to catch it. Maybe even 495 may be the cleaner level, right? Maybe 494 we just use as a break and hold and see how it reacts, and then we use 95 to scalp that, right? There's a lot of ways you can trade this kind of setup. For me personally, at the current moment, I'm looking at 494 with room up to 495. I really don't need that much room on Microsoft to make a big play on this. A dollar move on Microsoft is more than enough for me. But who knows? Maybe this breaks out by $2, $3, and who knows, right? I can't predict the future. I'm not a fortune teller. There's Google numbers that you can Google for that. So there's Microsoft, and last but not least is Tesla. Tesla here looks like, I want to say we're giving up on all-time highs, but with ES reaching all-time highs and NQ starting to break out from the flat, from that consolidation to the flat top that we talked about at 25,800, Tesla is doing the inverse as of right now. Now, it hasn't broken out of the consolidation yet. I wouldn't consider the consolidation break until we get below 465 even. But at 466, we do have a flat bottom here as well. If I put this on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour, I'm sure most of you guys saw that we have a flat bottom there. And on top of that, I believe we have a gap there as well. Yeah. Just a really, really small gap, but just enough to make this setup even worth more while to wait for. But Tesla obviously is leaning more towards the weaker side just because it's holding at the bottom of its consolidation. Now, this can always come back up. It's Tesla. Tesla is known to be a beast in the market. So anything can happen, especially with the last week of December, the last 3 days, actually, of the year, from Monday to Wednesday, since those are the last 3 days of the year of 2025. So who knows? Maybe we get the craziest rally of all time, or maybe we just consolidate, or maybe we just sell off. 3 things are bound to happen. It's going to be one of those 3. I can't tell you which one it is, but yeah, 466 is my level on Tesla with the room down to 465, and then I have way more room down there with the gap ends at around 462, 463ish. So with that being said, though, I hope you guys enjoyed the watch list. There's not much else that I saw as grade A setups that I liked. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a fantastic year. Hope you guys close it out really well. Before you go, though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. With that being said, hope you guys take care and peace out. Later.